Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. During the time of the Roman Empire, Ephesus was an important city. At the time of Paul, Ephesus was probably the fourth largest city in the world, with a population estimated at 250,000 people. The apostles Paul, John, and Timothy all spent much time there working with the churches. Paul specifically wanted to instruct the Ephesian Christians about this Christian life that they were involved in. In Ephesians chapter 1, verses 9 through 11, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation, second edition, it says, God has now revealed to us his mysterious plan regarding Christ, a plan to fulfill his own good pleasure. And this is the plan. At the right time, he will bring everything together under the authority of Christ, everything in heaven and on earth. Furthermore, because we are united with Christ, we have received an inheritance from God, for he chose us in advance, and he makes everything work out according to his plan. God has a plan. This world is not just a collection of wild happenstance events. God has a plan. And sometimes that plan is a mystery to us. We have no clue what God's doing or what he's about. But hopefully we're trusting him that he does have a plan. And it's a plan about Jesus, the Christ, his only begotten Son. And this plan pleased God. It was for his pleasure. Think about that. When your life is out of control, God has a plan. When events are spiraling faster than you can deal with, God has a plan. When you're not sure where you're going or what's going to happen next, God has a plan. And this plan pleases God. He explains it further by saying, at the right time, everything will be under the authority of Christ, everything in heaven and earth. Now, Paul did explain what that right time is, and that's part of the mystery, is that he uses phrase like at the right time and on the day, and we don't know what that means. But he says that he has the authority. He will be given the authority. That's the ability to command and direct. But it's also the ability to care for. People who are in authority need to be able to direct and command those under their authority, but they also have a mighty responsibility to care for those under the authority. It's a well-known understanding of leadership that if you are in leadership, part of your responsibility is to care for those you're leading. And if Jesus becomes the authority, he's going to have the ability to command and direct, but also to care for. God's plan is for everyone and everything to be cared for and directed by Christ Jesus. He goes on to describe our situation as believers, that we are united with Christ. We're not in this all by ourselves. We're not all alone. We are united with Christ, and that we have received an inheritance from God. We're not going to receive. He's not talking about a future event to wait for. He says if we are united with Christ, we have already received an inheritance from God because he chose us in advance. He reminded the Roman church that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. God chose us to be the recipients of his inheritance before we even had an inkling of what was going on. It matters not who we are, what we do. God has chosen us in advance. And he makes everything work out according to his plan. He's got a plan, and he makes sure that he fulfills it and carries it out. My encouragement for you today is to recognize that you are part of God's plan, and that you pray that you may fulfill the part that God has for you this day. God bless you.